Hey guys, welcome to Capital Bass Fishing. I'm Joe Simpson, and today we're going to be crafting a short side spinnerbait. Creating your own spinnerbait is kind of fun and rewarding. A, it's very easy, and B, you get to totally tailor this thing to be exactly what you want. But today I was specifically interested in the short side spinnerbait, and you've probably seen this by a company called Molex. Molex makes something called a short side spinnerbait, which has a reduced profile, a big willow leaf blade, and it looks kind of interesting to me, and I'm going to try this out as a good winter bait. So let's go for it and let's get crafting. To make a short-sided spinnerbait is actually easier than making a normal spinnerbait because there's less parts to put together. So take a look at what you'll probably need. You'll need some type of split ring pliers, and then you're going to need something to cut the wire with, which these pliers have. You're going to need a set of pliers or something to use to bend the wire around and create a hoop. And then you're going to need a swivel, a blade, and I have a willow leaf blade right here. And you're going to need a spinnerbait pre-made jig head or make your own with wire. I buy these pre-made, so you're going to have to determine what kind of blade arrangement is going to be best for you, whether or not you want to use a Colorado blade or a willow leaf blade. For my purposes, I'm just going to stick to a plain silver. I have a bunch of these, so I figured why not just use them. And I'm going to go with a skirt that is kind of just light with a little bit of gold, green, and blue, kind of a everything bait. This could be anything from shad to bluegill. And yeah, keeping it simple. This is the jig head I had closest to white. It has some chartreuse on it. That's not going to be a bad thing. So I'm just going to use this. The first thing you'll notice about the Molex short side spinnerbait is that the side that has the blade has been cut really short. And what that's doing is allowing that blade to stay near the jig head and kind of close to that profile. So you'll hear a lot of people sometimes say, hey, when you're fishing a spinnerbait and you keep getting strikes and you're not hooking up, they're hitting the blades, because a spinnerbait sits at a wide Y. And the blades are up here and the jig is down here, and you're hoping that the fish will either get the jig or get the whole thing by default. By making a short-sided spinnerbait, you're making a lower profile, easier to eat, one bite deal. So what I want to do is create a target for the fish that's smaller and attainable, and I possibly want to create something that will swim through the water at a slower pace because I'm going to be fishing this in the winter. So the first thing we're going to do is kind of determine where and how we want to cut this wire and how it's going to work out. I'm going to mock it up. Let's pretend this is my trailer on this. And I don't want it to hit. I'm probably going to say somewhere around there. Okay, so I'm probably going to want to cut this a little north of that hole because I don't want it to hit the skirt, because I don't want it way down here. Would be cool, but I don't, it has some travel, so I don't want it hitting things. So I'm going to be conservative and go like up here. So I'm going to grab it right where I want to cut it. And I'm going to cut this thing. You can always cut more off, so don't get too aggressive right off the bat. And there's a piece of wire in the floor of my basement, which will make my wife really unhappy. So from here, I think I just want to use these round over pliers to round this part over. Because remember, we're not doing anything. We're not sliding pieces on. This isn't a complex scenario. So we're just going to bend this back over like this. I'm going to try to keep this main wire straight. As you can see, I'm not a perfect designer of these things. All right. Then I'm going to close this down. Try not to squeeze your... I'm not wearing my glasses. So what you don't want is this thing to come out like that. Okay. Almost there, guys. Bear with me. It's okay. It's not awesome. Let's go a little beyond. There we go. I like just going a little beyond, and then you can flatten it back out. You guys can see what I'm doing. Okay, now that's going to be locked in there good. It's not as straight as I want it, but so let's do a little test fit And that's one thing I didn't do when I accounted for this, was to say, hey, where's this blade gonna be? So the Molex, if I'm correct when I see it, the Molex, I think, has a longer wire here. So that blade is set more forward. So one thing you could do once you get this together, if you find that your blade is rubbing against your skirt and you don't like it, you could always just straighten this out even more and take it farther away, kind of downhill like that. Let's try that. Let's put her together. Next thing's going to be split rings and putting this blade on. Sometimes I just abort right away and just start using different pliers to pull it through. Getting there, guys. I know you're probably watching this going, boy, that dude's just killing me. I think we're done. Okay, there we go. That's our final look. So probably going to have to bend that down just a little bit. Maybe I'm going the wrong way. No, I could need to bend this up more to 90. We're going to have to just go with it. Maybe bend this down just a touch. What do you guys think? I don't know. Let's see if that works. Okay, so the way you make a skirt is you take this right here and you take this material and you line it up at the top. And there's a little hook here. And you hook it right there and you gently kind of fold it, mold it, make it go up in that tube. And something I'm going to do here, actually what you do is you take this little rubber band. You can tie this on with a string too. It works better. But for today's purposes, I'm going to go fast and furious here. You can roll this down, get it close, pull this skirt material up in there halfway. And then I'm going to take this. This is going to be weird, but I'm going to take this. Actually, I might pull it down, do this, see if I can get it to feed up in there. Yeah, see how it went up in there? And I'm going to pull this down and just capture it all. All right, so you see what I did there? Let me review. I want this orange piece to be longer, sticking out the back. So I pulled this in a little bit, and I'm going to roll this down a little bit because I want this to be kind of an even fold. A fold over, and then I want this red coming out the back. And what we're going to do is now thread this lure on, and we're going to shove it all the way up to the head. And hopefully I don't lose my orange grip. Come on. Should have left more orange in there. There we go. I think that'll hold. So what we're going to do now is cut the ends of these things off right here. And we could have cut them before, but it's better to just do it when you're certain that you've got it covered. Cut those off, leave them long for now. Cut these little dudes right here. And this is going to give me my long little orange streak out the bottom. So let's move some trash and let's take a look at this thing. So what do I have now? I've got a low profile spinnerbait that seems like it's going to work fine. It's compact. There's very few moving parts. So now you've got a spinnerbait similar to the Molex. It's got a low profile. It's got the streamer sticking out the back, and you've got some orange on the nose, orange in the body, a little bit of white and sparkle. This is going to be a really good, I think, winter bait. So here's our finished product, guys. You can kind of see it has a nice long profile, plenty of material for the bass to suck in, and a really compact, low profile blade. I think this is going to work. I'm going to go try it out. I'll bring you guys with me and we'll see how this thing performs. Thanks for hanging in there. Sorry about some of the out of frame shots and things that didn't work out, but I appreciate you guys coming along and checking it out. make yourself one of these, see how you do. And if you have any design changes or ideas, please hit me in the comments below. I'm always open ears and open for suggestions. Tight lines. Have a good rest of the weekend. See ya.